very sorry to be so late, Mr. Connie.
That's all right, Mr. Green. I appreciate your fitting this into your schedule.
I decided to walk from the station. I'd forgotten how far it was.
Coffee? I'm afraid the bar doesn't open until noon.
Oh, nothing for me, thanks. Well, this place hasn't changed. Does Ada Jack still own it?
Yes.
I used to spend quite a bit of time around here.
When was the last time you were in town?
Oh, let me see. 5 years, I think. Yes, 5 years. It's just for a day. I never would have recognized you after all these years.
Nor are you.
You were lucky to catch me at the home office. I'm seldom there nowadays. It's, curious, after all these years. Somebody is reopening what happened on that bluff.
Ann Colby is the one who is reopening it, Mr. Crane.
She is?
She's living here under her married name, Howard. She's retained me to find out what happened. You said on the phone you remember the incident quite clearly.
I do.
Well, my memories of it are vague and confusing.
Well, not mine. I'm afraid I'll never forget it.
Had you played with the same children before?
Oh, yes, many times.
Then you all knew that a fall from the bluff could be fatal.
Yes.
Had you ever seen Ann Howard before that day?
No.
Do you recall anything about her appearance?
I think so. I think she was wearing a red sweater and a skirt. Yeah, I remember that. Red sweater. That's right, isn't it?
Where were you when the accident occurred?
I was right there, horsing around with the rest of them. 1 minute it was fun and laughing, and the next minute Chris Webber was screaming as he fell off the bluff. Everybody said that Ann did it.
I know. Everyone said it, Arthur. I said it. But after I forced myself to think about it, I realized painfully that I was frightened and excited and just aping what the rest of the kids were saying.
Are you saying this was kid stuff? It wasn't. The girl's father went along with it.
How do you mean, went along with it?
He said he believed she did it. He said she was subject to fits of temper.
Oh, you've got a good memory, Arthur.
I do, for certain things.
And you remember that Ann Howard actually pushed Chris Webber off the bluff?
Yes.
You're positive?
Yes, if I hadn't seen her do it, I'd never say it, but I saw her do it.
Thank you. Come back again.
Thank you, Mr. Carson.
Mrs. Harrington, what can I do for you?
He's not talking to me. He's mad at me for something. Would you ask Norman if he'd like to have a picnic with me on the bandstand today?
Tell her no thanks. I'm too busy.
Well, if I come out to the bandstand as referee, who'll give me half a sandwich?
I will.
Come on.
Well, who's going to mind the store?
I'm the boss, and this is an order. Corners, children.
Oh, here's a sandwich for Norman. Here's one for you.
You know, my friend William Shakespeare said that true love never runs smooth. Norman, you're too old and too sensible to act like this.
This isn't any of your business, Mr. Carson.
Well, it's Rita's business, and if you haven't got the courage to tell her what it is you're quarreling about without getting mad, then I'm going to make you madder.
You have, thanks.
And if you can't talk this over reasonably and quietly and above all honestly,
I get your point, Mr. Carson.
then you shouldn't be married. That's all I came to say.
Oh, but I've got some potato salad and deviled eggs and Carrots and olives and pickles and cupcakes. Oh, don't go yet.
You two work this out together.
Here's some celery and stuff, if you want it.
I got in a fight with Grandfather, then Rodney.
Why couldn't you tell me?
It was a dumb fight.
Was it over me?
Who knows what it was over? Grandfather suggested he'd like to give me some money. I said, no, thanks. We'll make it on our own. Then he got rude. I got ruder. Enter the meddler, Rodney. I don't know who swung first. I always wanted to be independent. Well, I guess I should be overjoyed.
And you're miserable.
No. I enjoy baiting people until they can't stand it anymore, until they have to kick me out. Then I start feeling sorry for myself. Then I go around looking for other people to fight. The only trouble is, I'm running out of people. I made us an island, just you and me. You want off?
No.
Even if I...
No matter what.
You're crazy.
You married me. You're the one who's crazy.
I happen to love you.
If it wasn't for me, you'd be in there with Rod.
Who needs to be in there?
You'd have a brother and a father and a grandfather.
So what? Who needs me?
When we got married, I was going to try and straighten things out between you and everybody. Thought I could, because I wanted to be part of a family badly enough. All I've done is drive them all away from you.
Good riddance.
Norm.
If they wanted to keep me in the family, they could have. I'm much more responsible now than before we got married. They just don't want me around. I shout a lot. I get into fights. And what really rubs them the wrong way, and I mean Rod too, is that I'm getting along. We're getting along without them. That really bothers them. No applause?
Maybe I'll go talk to your grandfather.
I dare you. Well, I better get back to work. Thanks for the picnic. And I'm sorry. I mean for being so rotten last night and this morning.
It's okay.
What was all that hysteria on the telephone?
Well, Norman and I had a fight, a bad fight.
Do you want me to have a talk with Norman, smooth things over, is that it?
No, I didn't come here to complain about Norman. I've got to tell him that the reason I moved in with my grandfather was so you could have this job back. I know it's going to damage your relationship with him, but I can't help it.
What do you mean you can't help it?
I just can't have it weighing me down any longer.
How does it weigh you down? All I got from your phone conversation was that your adolescent dignity is offended. Your shining armor is rusted by the so-called dirty deal I made with your grandfather.
Come on, Dad, let's face it. You made an under-the-table deal with him.
Well, I guess by your foolish noble standards, I should spend my 20 or so remaining years in dignified, tight-lipped poverty. But I'm a practical man, and I made a practical deal with your grandfather. The kind of deal that's made every day, everywhere, between men. You understand?
I guess I should understand, shouldn't I?
When are you going to grow up, Rodney? You're 21 years old now. You've been through a murder trial, and you're still...
Still what?
You're still acting like a child, with a child's fairy tale notions of morality.
Oh, I know I couldn't get through to you.
Then why did you bother me with all this? Why didn't you just go ahead and tell Norman?
Because that's another one of my problems, Dad. I'm Honorable Rodney. I felt I had to tell you.
Have you discussed this with your grandfather?
Not specifically.
Well, when he finds out that Norman knows the truth, he'll be delighted, I can assure you. Because you will have accomplished for your grandfather what he's tried and failed to do for 20 years.
I can't get you to understand.
You'll destroy our family, Ron.
I'm not convinced we've ever been a family. Okay, I've been naive. The issue's clear, isn't it? That your relationship with Norman or mine. Okay. I'm going to take a lesson from you. I'm going to start being more practical. I'm going to look out for number one.
I warn you, Ron. You will destroy our family.
No, Dad, not the family. Just you.
Preview from the continuing story of Peyton Place.
I am telling you. You want an audience for your act? Sling it around the cider barrel. But from now on, my brother is off limits.
You're just scared, and you're dying for somebody to come and help you because you bit off more than you can chew.
Oh, come over. That Big Brother act's getting to be ancient history.
You bet it is, because I served enough time in jail on that gig.